Hi everyone. So I just want to wait a few minutes. It's just a couple minutes to 5:30, but I'm kind of testing this out to see if I sound clear, see how the photo or the image is like. But if you're just joining us live or you're watching this later, you'll want to grab your mat, and it might be helpful too to use some props today. So maybe a pillow will be helpful. If you have a yoga block, that could also be helpful. Maybe even a blanket. So if you want to take a moment and gather those things, we'll start in just a little bit. So I guess I'll start off by introducing myself. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anna. I typically teach at End Yoga at 5:30 on Wednesdays, so this feels really like natural in some way to be together. Also definitely a little awkward and weird, but really just trying to open up to what's happening now and how we are all like physically separated, but we can still create connection, whether it's online or in the virtual space. And it's just really, I found a lot of comfort through it. So super honored to be here with you all. In terms of just some announcements to make, End Yoga just launched our own YouTube page. So these practices will be available either on that platform or here on Facebook. And as well, we have a Facebook group, West End like Kula for community. And you can feel free to join that as well, a chance to like connect with other studio members, other people, like support one another through this really challenging time. So we'll get started and we'll spend a few moments centering. If you have a block and you want to sit up and elevate your hips, sometimes that's a little easier for the knees. And you might sit cross-legged in Sukhasana or Siddhasana. You might choose a slightly different position to begin, one that will create as much ease as possible. And then perhaps you'll start to close your eyes. Closing your eyes might be that way to really begin to draw inward. Otherwise, you might let your gaze just remain softly open. And taking these next few moments to really just notice what's happening in the present moment, especially what's happening with you. You might sense the support that's beneath your legs. You might even feel the space that surrounds you. Even if your eyes are open, just like gently taking it in. You might notice your torso and ever so gently let your spine lift, your shoulders relaxing down your back. And even feeling your head floating atop your neck. And just take a moment to see what's present for you physically, whether you're holding maybe a little tightness or tension somewhere. Or perhaps noticing where your body might feel more at ease, where it's relaxing. And maybe there are even subtle places to soften, maybe like fingers, bottom jaw, eyelids, eyebrows. And then even checking in and noticing how you're feeling or doing. I don't know about you all, but like my feelings have been all over the place this past few weeks. And we can get really curious about them, not trying to judge them or wish that they were any different, but just really opening up. This is doing. And then noticing your breath again, or bringing awareness to it if it's not already there. And just sensing what it's like to be here breathing. Maybe feeling the quality of air passing through your nose or your mouth, whatever is more comfortable. And then we'll see about gradually letting the breath grow a little fuller, expanding it. So as you breathe in, you're filling your lungs all the way up. And as you breathe out, you're letting your lungs empty completely. Breathing in to fill up, to invite that full breath. And exhaling, allow the lungs to empty. Feel that natural relaxation that occurs. And taking about 3 more breaths here in stillness, so the connection is what will carry you through your practice. What connects you to the here and now, and what helps create more ease as well. And then I'll invite you to take your hands and reach them up and overhead, perhaps even pressing them together, and then bringing them to heart center. Let's join by taking a breath in and a breath out. Yeah, now exploring some movement with breath, we'll take an inhale to sweep the arms up and overhead. With an exhale, release your left hand or whatever hand is calling and reach up and over. Find a lateral lean through the body, right? So notice the stretch that you're creating there. Feel the length through the waist. Connect then to your breath and allow yourself to be here for 2 full rounds of breath. Just breathing in, breathing out, inhaling, and exhaling. With your next breath in, you'll reach upwards, and then exhale, take it to the other side, reach up and over. Pressing your hip down, reaching through your fingers, letting yourself just breathe into that space that you're creating. Noticing the sensation of the stretch within, connecting to your breath, this constant throughout your life. Let's take another breath in, breath out. And then inhaling, you'll reach the arms up. Exhale, bring hands together at the center of your chest. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky. Exhale, you'll find a twist to one side. Right hand comes behind you, the other rests at your outer thigh. Gaze off to the side, maybe over towards your back shoulder. With every breath that you take in, let your spine lift. With every breath that you take out, see if you can invite the twist to deepen. And maybe there's a way to relax or create ease in the shape. Shoulders heavy down the back, legs softening a little bit more. Taking another round of breath here, we'll breathe in and breathe out. Slowly unwind, come back through to center. Inhaling, arms will sweep upwards. Exhale, find the twist over to the other side, maybe gazing off to the side or over the back shoulder. Feeling the sensation of the twist across your chest. Being present to your breath, noticing the feeling, the rhythm. Taking another breath in here. Breath out. Inhale. And exhale, come back through to center. We'll take another inhale to sweep the arms up and overhead. And then exhaling, hands come to the center of your chest. Climbing out of your seat, we'll meet on our mats towards tabletop position. So starting to transition, placing your hands below your shoulders, fingers spread wide, and knees are below your hips. Start to explore with your breath. Inhale, you'll lift your tailbone, belly to the ground, chest opens, gaze follows. And then exhaling, tucking the tailbone, rounding the head, dropping your head last. Follow your breath a few times. So inhaling, you're opening up. Exhale here, rounding, pressing the ground away. Moving through this, just noticing. You might even want to pause in cat or cow. You might allow the movement to become a little more dynamic, making some circles, and getting the kinks out, essentially. There's no right or wrong to this, and in fact, if your practice looks really different than mine does, perfectly fine, right? We're all trying to just meet ourselves where we are, be a little more compassionate, not judge so much. So we'll take another breath in, breath out. And then inhaling, returning towards a more neutral position, tabletop. We'll see about taking the right leg long behind you. Your toes can find the ground. Pressing into your hands, you might then just pulse once or twice back and forth, right? Opening up the back of your legs, the calf, maybe noticing the arch of your foot, all the little joints that are there. And then as you're ready, you might start to lift your right leg off the ground, bringing your heel towards hip height, noticing, feeling like you could press up against something. Maybe you're staying here, maybe you're tensing up onto your left fingertips, hand might come to your belly, feel yourself press the ground away, and then perhaps you start to extend that arm forward. You can stay breathing here, focusing on building the strength. You might take a breath in to lengthen, and then breath out, curling in, elbow and knee come to center. Inhale, you might reach away. Exhale here, curl in. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale here, curl in. Inhale, you'll reach away. Exhale, plant your hands. See about bringing your right foot out to the side. You'll plant the foot on the outer edge, and then you'll just simply start to shift back and forth. Really helpful for the hips, helps, right, essentially send fluid to them. You might stay doing this for another round or two. You might allow the movement to become a little more circular. Again, it never matters what this looks like. It said, can we just create some more freedom by letting things be a little weird, a little messy, and exploration. All right, take one more breath, exploring. Make sure you tried maybe the other direction. And then we'll return to center. That leg can go long, and then release down. Switching to the other side, so I'll rotate around. Left leg will go behind you, toes find the ground. Press into your hands, start to wake the left foot up. Waking the back of the leg up, taking just a little motion, noticing it. And then as you're ready, you'll start to lift the left leg off the floor. Reach back with your heel. Support with the core. Maybe your right hand comes to the belly and just notice, feel it. Maybe you can lift up a bit more, feel everything engaged, hugging in. And then maybe you're adding the right arm, reaching away. Feel that length through your body. We'll take a big breath in. Breath out, elbow and knee come to center. Inhaling, following your own breath. Exhaling, curling in. Breathing in, lengthen. Breathe out, round. Inhale here, reach away. And then exhale, your hand comes down. Your left foot comes out to the side. Start to just kind of glide back and forth. Noticing the movement in your hips and your legs. Perhaps you stay doing this. Perhaps you start to bend the knee a bit. Make some circular motions. Maybe you close the eyes so it becomes intuitive, or just let the gaze be soft. Take about one more round of breath to explore. And then returning towards center, you'll lift your leg back up, strengthening the hip, and then extend it long. Bring the leg back down to the side. Start to release to child's pose. You can send your hips back to your heels. You can keep your gaze lifted if you'd rather, and it would be more comfortable for your neck. Certainly release it to the floor. Maybe you make a little pillow. Know anytime you need to find this pose to rest in, come here whenever. Stay for however long you might need. Right? You can always hit pause if you're watching this video. You can always come back whenever. You might get a greeting from George. We'll take a big breath in, long breath out, and then you'll lift yourself up. We'll start to transition to downward dog, tucking your toes, lifting your hips up to the sky, and then allow there to be some movement. You can pedal out your feet, sway your hips from side to side. If this feels tough on your wrists, it can be done as puppy pose, so you'd walk your hands forward, head heavy. But if you're here in downward dog, just notice what it's like. See if you can feel yourself press into the fingers, create a suction cup feeling through the palms. Maybe bend your knees quite a bit, lift your hips upward, let your gaze drift towards your belly button. All right, take another breath in, breath out. And then with your next inhale, see if you can just gently walk feet towards hands. Allow your body there to just fold in half, shaking your head, swaying from side to side, just releasing, right? Really allowing the body to move in a way that feels like it's supportive, maybe even a way that feels like it helps let go of something you don't need in the moment, something that's not serving you, right? And slowly find some stilling, and we'll use a long breath in to roll up to stand. Yeah, when you arrive in your standing position, we'll find mountain pose, Tadasana. So from here, you'll want to feel the four corners of your feet press into the earth to your mat, feet parallel, right? Notice the sensation of the feet grounding down, softness to your knees, right? From that place, awareness draws upwards, feeling your hips, ribs, and shoulders stacking, your head atop your neck, arms by your side, and just sensing what it's like to be here. Maybe noticing what you can hear, what you can see. And then flowing, we'll move through some lunging sun salutations together. Inhaling, we'll sweep the arms up and overhead, reaching. Exhale, we'll start to fold down, bending your knees, releasing. Inhale, allow your spine to lengthen, lift halfway. Exhale, step your right foot behind you, lowering, softening the back knee. If that knee is sensitive, you can grab a blanket or double up with your mat. Kindness, care to the knees. Press into your hands and start to see about elevating and lifting your chest. As you're ready, you might begin to reach your arms upwards. Feel your shoulders relax away from your ears. Lift through both fingers, right? Feel yourself breathe, connect to the breath. Let's take a big inhale. Exhale, see about opening up wide into a twist. So your right hand comes back, your left hand comes forward. Feel the broadness across your chest. Oops, sorry, I messed up the direction. So it's your left hand that goes forward, right hand goes back, right and left, right? As we do this, as it's virtual, it's gonna be weird and messy. Just make sure you do both sides. We'll take a big breath in. Long breath out. Inhale. Exhale, take your left hand or your hand opposite your foot to the ground. Twist a different way. Reach up. Maybe you tuck your back toes, lift your back leg, open up through your chest. Feel your breath moving in, your breath moving out. Inhale. Exhale, you'll unwind. See about stepping back to downward dog. We'll meet there. From downward dog, let yourself feel the shake. Stay curious as to how it might change, right? Feeling the breath. And then you might stay here. You might come to child's pose. You might inhale, ride forward like a wave to high plank. Top end of a push-up. Feel yourself expand. Maybe your knees lower, right? I'm going to take mine there. It's been a long day. So we'll take a big breath in. And then breath out. Slowly make your way to your belly, taking your time to arrive. From that place, hands are at your mid-ribs, spine in a line. Inhale, lift up to a cobra. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up to a cobra. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rippling up. Exhale, release. Shift your way to tabletop. And then lift hips upward to the sky, downward dog. Right, from here, breath in to reach your right leg up and back. And then breath out, start to step your foot forward. Feel your foot ground into your mat. See about bringing your back foot up to meet it. Lengthen as you arrive, and then use an exhale to fold. Inhale all the way back up to stand. Exhale, hands to heart center. Maybe notice your heart beating. Taking a breath in. Breath out. Inhale, arms sweep upwards. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, we'll lift halfway, lengthen. Exhale, your left foot steps behind. behind you, lowering your back knee. Climbing your hands to the top of your right thigh, perhaps patting, supporting. Pressing your hands into the top of your thigh, lift through your chest. And then as you're ready, you might add the arms, reaching upwards. Feel your front foot press. Guide your shin forward. Notice the stretch at your top of your thigh. As you're ready, find an open twist. Twist towards the front leg, arms expand. Feel yourself lift up and out from your hips. Connect to your breathing. Taking a big inhale. Long exhale. Breath in. Breath out. Start to take your left hand, at least mine, or hand opposite your foot, reach to the ground, reach up and overhead. Find the difference in this twist, noticing it within your body, and then maybe you'll tuck your back toes, lift your back leg. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhaling, exhaling. Releasing your hand down to frame your foot. Step back towards downward dog. And maybe you'll stay here breathing. Maybe you'll find child's pose. Maybe you'll join me by rippling forward like a wave towards high plank. Perhaps knees lower again, or maybe they lift. You can keep lowering to your belly. You could try chaturanga. So hovering high to low, and then lifting up to a back bend. Maybe it's cobra like we did before, maybe upward dog, right? And then slowly releasing back to downward dog. Let's take a really big breath in here and a really big breath out. Inhaling, exhaling. One more breath, breathe in, breathe out. Inhale, your left leg lifts up and back. Exhale, step it forward to the top of your mat. Press the foot into the ground. Bring your back foot up to meet. Lengthen, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, root down to rise up. Arms sweep up and overhead. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Feeling that connection there. And then we will take one more sun salutation. Our first half of practice is yang. It's active, a chance to generate heat, drive change, right? So following along, if you'd like, breathe in, reaching up. Breathe out, fold down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, stepping back. Maybe you hop back as well. Choose to lower, maybe to the belly, maybe halfway. Lift up into your back bend. And then exhale, tucking the toes, hips rise, head drops. Right? Take 2 to 3 deep breaths here. Maybe each inhale allows your hips to lift. Each exhale helps you let go, create ease. Another breath in, breath out. And then inhale, travel to the top of the mat, lengthen. Exhale, release. Inhale all the way back up, reaching up and overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Sensing the shape, feeling that connection. From here, sending your gaze towards a drishti, towards a focus point. You'll have the weight go towards your right foot. Feel that foot ground down. All right, so switching directions, so I'll open up to you. But feel your right foot pressing into the earth. Start to bend and lift your left knee. Flex through your foot. Extend the leg back behind you. See about exploring flight in your warrior 3 variation, whether hands are at heart center, extending out as if they're wings. Maybe they reach back behind, perhaps even up and overhead. Create your shape. Maybe use a support, like I just found that wall. Right? Supports allow us to explore in different ways. Right? See what's possible. Allow yourself to just try again if you wobble, if you come out. And then softening your front knee, you'll step that foot back behind you. Let's meet in a crescent lunge. If you wobble to get there, no big deal. Right? Finding the shape, bending into the front knee. Pressing back into your back foot. Shoulders might be able to melt down your back. Create some space. We'll take one more breath here. And then breath out, hands to heart center. Open up into your warrior two. You'll spin your back foot down, adjusting. You'll bend deeply into your front knee, or as much as you'd like, right? Creating that right amount of sensation. Guide it to the outer edge. Extend your arms away from one another. Let the gaze be over the front hand. Find steadiness, find stilling even with a pose where there's a lot of effort. Let's breathe here. And then flipping your front palm up with your inhale, reach back behind you into a peaceful warrior. Back hand can rest on your back leg, or you might tuck it to your lower back. Feel that sensation. Notice the opening. Connect to the breath. And then as you're ready, press into your feet. Lift your torso up, come forward. Your forearm rests at your top thigh, your right thigh. Your back arm can reach up and overhead or to the ceiling, the sky. Whatever feels more supportive for your shoulders. Feel the back foot ground down, extend, reach, maybe really open up through the core, engaging, getting light. Connect deeply to the breath. If you're holding your breath, right, it's a sign of resistance, so ease out of the pose or let it become fuller. Taking a big inhale, long exhale, breath in. Breath out, start to lift your torso up, releasing your arms. Let the leg take a break for a moment. We'll then extend the arms out to a T. Begin to reach for with your right hand, your front hand, till you feel like you can't anymore. And then with care, guide the hand down. Find the outer edge of your leg somewhere, your left arm lifts. See if you can rotate the heart. See if you can maintain that equal length through both sides of the body. Feel the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And then with an inhale, you'll lift yourself up. Allow your arms to relax. Hands to the hips, pivot, swivel towards the top of your mat again. From that place, feel your foot press into the ground. You can keep hands at your hips through the transition. Hands at heart, extending upwards. But as you're ready, you'll press into the front foot and lift. All right, and then release. Let it go. Take a little movement, right? It's in the past. We have another side and another opportunity. So find your center in mountain pose. Set your gaze on a drishti, a focus point. Feel your weight go towards your left foot so that you'll bend the right knee, lifting the foot off the ground. Hands at hips, hands at heart, by your side. Take a breath in. Breath out, start to extend that leg. Find flight and choose a variation that's supportive, right? We know that the wobbles will be there. It's natural, our body is adapting, it's changing constantly, so that we can explore our center, so we can be grounded into it. See what's possible, know you can always try again. And then as you're ready, you'll start to find a bend to your standing leg, your knee. Plant your foot back down, reach your arms up and overhead. Right, maybe you take the feet wider apart, train track, so hips find stability. Feel your arms reach up, connect to your breath. Try one more round of breath here with me, breathing in, breathing out. And then begin to open up into your warrior two. Expand into the pose. Feel yourself take up space. Feel the bend into the knee that you guide to the outer edge. Notice the stretch at your hips. Find steadiness or try to create ease. And maybe just softening fingers. Feeling the rhythm of your breathing. And then with an inhale, we'll reach up, reaching back behind, opening up through the front of the body into the peaceful warrior. Connect to your breath. And then carefully, as you're ready, press your feet into the ground, come forward. We'll meet in an extended side angle. Left forearm or opposite forearm rests atop your thigh, back hand to the sky or up and overhead. Press down through your back foot. Feel the length and lift from the grounding. Connect to the breath. Maybe support with your core, be a little light or play with it. Let's take a big inhale, long exhale, breath in, breath out. Start to lift yourself up, allow yourself to take a pause. Before then, extending your arms out to a T, reach forward till you feel like you can't anymore. Feel the left hip press back, that front hip. Extending, reaching the arm down. You can go and search for outer edge. If you have a block, it's great for triangle pose as well. Pressing in, lift and rotate through the center of your chest where your heart is located. Maybe reach through the crown of the head. Maybe 2 more breaths here. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhaling. Exhaling. Start to root down, ground down through your feet. Lift your torso back up. Allow your arms to rest for a moment. Take your hands to your hips. Begin to swivel, to take that little pivot turn to face the top of the mat. Press into the front foot. Hands can be at hips or at heart center. Begin to then just step forward and then let it go. Right? Allowing that to become part of the past. Opening up to the here and now. One more yang pose, one more active pose. We'll take a breath in, arms sweep up. Breath out, start to fold down. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, release. Heel toe your feet about mat 2 fist width distance, maybe even more, like a big distance. Start to bend your knees, think your hips coming into Malasana. You might begin with hands at thighs. You might have elbows at the tops of your thighs. You might bring the elbows to your inner knees, hands come to heart center. You might use your block, right? We're not going to be here too much longer, but it could be a nice way to support. Feel the opening through the hips, maybe lift through your spine. Let's take another big inhale. Long exhale. Breath in. And breath out. Lift up with the hips, slide the block out of the way. And with care, we'll meet on the sits bones. Maybe you're just lowering yourself there. Maybe cross-legged position or something a little different. Bring one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Maybe close your eyes. Take a moment to just notice, to feel maybe some heat in your body. Maybe notice your heart beating, right? I certainly feel mine. Maybe notice your breath. Maybe notice if anything has shifted or changed. I know I still feel a little less nervous than doing this live, but just a little bit like still that bubbling of excitement maybe. Know that however you feel in this moment is perfectly fine, right? Feelings are just energy and motion. They're constantly changing, constantly shifting. And even as we slow down, after we have just churned some energy by moving, right, those feelings too might change. So let's take a big breath in together and a long breath out. And then releasing your hand from your heart, your hand from your belly. We'll start to prepare now for our yin practice. Yin is a little bit of a different methodology. If you're not used to it, it's a practice that helps balance all the activity in our lives, all that's active, all that's like on the go, quick paced. So props are helpful for this. As I mentioned, a block, even a pillow, or if you have a blanket, if you want to press pause if you're watching this and you want to grab one, go for it. But it's helpful because we're going to practice letting go. We're practicing no longer controlling the shape. Instead, we'll be in the poses for a little bit of time with the idea of it helps us release and provide balance to life. So our first shape that we'll take is going to be butterfly position. And so with butterfly position, you'll want to extend one leg. You'll want to bend one knee, place the foot into the inner thigh. Just like John used Shirshasana, if you're used to that shape, if it's something familiar. But unlike that pose, you don't want to engage the muscles. You're not trying to flex your foot. You won't try to reach and extend. Instead, you'll see if you can settle into the pose and see if you can sink into the pose. So again, maybe blocks will be helpful, something or blankets or pillows to fold into. I'm gonna set a timer on my watch because typically we're in the shape for about 3 minutes, maybe even longer. And if you wanna keep going in the shape after I offer, do. Right, so I'll instruct you. You'll see me kind of looking up so that my voice sounds clear, but while you're in the shape, let your head hang heavy, let your body really sink in, breathe, be, you might be closing your eyes, right? So as we're ready, you'll take a breath in, and then you'll use the breath out to tuck your chin, to round your spine, and to really let yourself sink into this. Your extended leg is relaxing, your shoulders are down your back, you're trying to soften muscles in your face, in your head, in your neck. You're trying to let go of resistance. And then you're trying to be really curious to notice what happens. Tension will probably increase or decrease. It might stay the same. And with time, you might find that you can lower a little bit further into it. You might ease out of the pose. You might take a break completely. That feeling of I should be doing, right? Maybe it's a little more apparent when we're in studios, but while you're at home, just really try to notice like what your experience is and honor it. In yin, we want to be at like a Goldilocks place within the shape, a spot where there's enough sensation to create change, but not so much that you're holding your breath or it's like too intense, right? So it's instead this kindness and this curiosity, right? I don't know about you, but I'm like the type of person that always likes to be doing. So this period where we're asked to like stay at home, right, where we're following that social distancing in recognition that we're all interconnected, that my health is directly related to your health, that we're in this together. We might have found like a little bit of resistance to like this less doing, this kind of slowing down. And so yin is this practice to just give yourself that chance to understand that slowing down doesn't mean giving up, doesn't mean, right, surrendering, like completely releasing control. Instead, it allows you to understand that things have their purpose, right? Here, even though it might just feel like time's passing, your body is starting to really open up. These poses go way deeper within towards the fascia, helping your mobility and your flexibility. Right, so we have about, maybe we'll say 5 more breaths here. See if you can just be with your breath. Be with the sensations. Maybe sink in a bit more. And then as you're ready, we'll slowly lift up, noticing, right? Not having to rush from one thing to the next, maybe just feeling the release that occurs or any sensations. And then with care, you'll begin to extend your leg that had the bent knee, maybe take a little movement, adjusting. So before greeting half butterfly on the other side, we'll come to the full butterfly pose, which brings feet together, knees opening up wide. Your feet are just a comfortable distance away from your inner thighs, your hips. You can have them close, further away, whatever feels better. If there's a lot of space between your knees and the ground, since we'll be in this pose for some time, maybe you'll use blocks or books or anything at all that you have at hand. Remember, you can always press pause, come back in. That's one of the beauties of doing this at home, right? You can really create your own. So it might be something like this. You might be comfortable folding forward. You might like something to fold into, whether it is your blanket, pillows, anything at all. So just take a moment to arrange yourself. And then as you're ready, we'll take a big breath in. And we'll take a big breath out to tuck the chin, to round the spine, and to allow yourself to sink in, right? It's no longer doing once you have arranged your bones. Instead, it's shifting into being and observing and just noticing breath, thoughts coming and going, sounds, things within the moment, right? And acknowledge how, as you are here, as time passes, as gravity does its thing, things can shift and things can change. And so you may, again, take a break. Coming out of the pose, you may add some props. Right? Just recognizing and practicing that compassion. Right? And as we're here together, I have been reflecting and coming back to a piece of work that I love dearly by Pema Chodron, who's a pretty awesome Tibetan Buddhist monk. She has a few books, one in particular called When Things Fall Apart. And yin is this similar concept, right, of letting go of control, of just instead really letting things take their natural shape. And even in our yang half of this practice, right, I encouraged you on your own mat just to let things be this messy, weird experience. And so while you're here, right, you can choose to listen to these little excerpts that I have found kind of in some way comforting, right, in some way like an aha moments. But if you'd rather just focus on your breathing, put me on mute too, no big deal. This is our shared practice and it can still look really different. Right, so Pema Chodron suggests that when we are shaky, when we have this uncertainty in our lives, when things don't feel like they're working or nothing's happening, or maybe everything's happening outside of our control, but it's nothing that we hoped for, that this might actually be a really important place to open up to. That it might be a place where we can become a little more tender, open our hearts. And by simply grounding into the present moment and practicing, strengthening our compassion, understanding that we're all going through this or will maybe at some point, it's human. It can help us connect, relate, strengthen bonds. Pema Chodron writes, things falling apart is a kind of testing and is also a kind of healing. We think that the point is to pass the test or to overcome the problem, but the truth is that things don't really get solved. They come together and they fall apart again. They come together and they fall apart again. And it's just like that. The healing comes from letting there be room for all of this to happen. Room for grief, room for relief, for misery, and for joy. Let's take a big breath in and a long breath out. And with care, ever so gently begin to lift your head, your neck up. And just notice how that feels, how it ended. And then as you're ready, you'll bring maybe knees upwards to the sky, a little movement at all, maybe a little back bend, releasing, just whatever it might be. And then preparing yourself for the opposite side, so half butterfly. I forgot to mention that sometimes it's helpful, right, to elevate the hips when you fold forward. So if you feel like there's too much tension as you're rounding, as you're sinking into this, sitting up on something can help sometimes alleviate that. So whatever leg you haven't done, your knee will bend, your other leg goes long, allow it to relax out from your hips. Use supports when you fold forward. You can choose to be more neutral, you can choose to go to the side. There's truly no right or wrong with this. It's all about getting to know like what within the body, like what your body needs, what's supporting you. So as you're ready, we'll join by taking a breath in and a breath out to tuck your chin, to round, to sink in, to allow everything to just soften as much as possible, right? Surrendering to the moment. And then opening up to what happens during it, to how feelings could shift and change, to how thoughts come and go, letting there be that room for all of it. Continuing with Pema Chodron's words, she shares, life is a good teacher and a good friend. Things are always in transition. If we only could realize it. Nothing ever sums itself up in the way we like to dream about. The off-center, in-between state is an ideal situation. A situation in which we don't get caught and we can open our hearts and our minds beyond limits. It's a very tender, non-aggressive, open-ended state of affairs. To stay with this shakiness, to stay with a broken heart, with a rumbling stomach, with feelings of hopelessness and wanting maybe to get revenge, that is the path of true awakening. Sticking with the uncertainty, getting the knack of relaxing in the midst of chaos, learning not to panic. This is the spiritual path. Letting the knack of catching ourselves, of gently and compassionately catching ourselves, is the path of the warrior. So knowing that by practicing presence, by finding the time to settle onto your mat, whether it's tonight or sometime in the future if you're watching this later, that by just letting the experience that you have be, you get to strengthen that courageous compassion, that it all serves its purpose, that it all helps you connect to the inner wisdom. And that hopefully, right, and it is a practice, something I have been bumping up to, reminding myself throughout this whole thing, right, that sometimes by letting go, transformation does certainly occur. So let's let go, let's sink in here for a few more moments where I'll be silent. And then let's take a big breath in and a long breath out. And with care, begin to lift yourself up. Allow yourself to notice. And beginning to then just transition. Take a little movement, move any props out of the way. We'll meet on our backs. We'll take a gentle supine twist together and then head into a shavasana, where I will, at that point, come up and have a seat, and I will read like a little poem, a little reflection. We'll do a little maybe just meditation to close out. And then to officially end this, you'll hear me ring a chime and call you back, right? But know that if you want to stay a little bit longer in Shavasana, again, one of the perks of practicing at home, you could hang out there for as long as you'd like. So we'll meet on the mat, on our backs, rolling down. Maybe hug knees into your chest, take a little motion. And then taking both of your arms out to a T, maybe elbows bent. Allow both of your legs to drift to one side, to be heavy. Maybe your gaze is upwards, maybe it goes over your opposite shoulder. Let your body sink in. Feel your breath. Feel the ground beneath you. Connecting to it. And then with your next inhale, lift your legs up. Allow them to release to the opposite side. Maybe gaze stays upwards, maybe over opposite shoulder. Let your body sink in. Feeling the rotation. Noticing the breath. And then with care, begin to bring your legs upwards. Hug them in. Maybe again, a little movement, anything you might need before Shavasana. Maybe you'll recline right straight onto your mat. Maybe you'll add some props to sweeten it. You might take like a blanket, cover up. You might make a pillow. You might actually choose to come to have a seat. Whatever shape would be fine, even rolling onto some sides. Rest is so important to our health and well-being, so making sure it does create as much ease as possible. Know that I have transitioned towards a seat just so I can offer some words with a little more clarity, not hopefully as muffled. Right? So as you begin to make your way into your shape, as you begin to sink into it, maybe you're closing your eyes. Maybe you're inviting your shoulders, your back of your body to either find the support beneath or relax down your back. And then let's take a full purposeful breath in and a long breath out. And allowing any effort of the breath or with the breath to be released so that it's just coming and going naturally. The ground beneath you, sinking into it. And even inviting your awareness to travel down towards your feet. And as your awareness will travel upwards, just inviting your body to soften, to rest a bit more. So that you'll feel the toes relaxing here. Noticing your ankles. Awareness continuing to travel upwards, noticing your knees. Feeling both of your legs relaxing out from your hips as much as possible. Your hips resting. The back of your body finding the support beneath. Or your shoulders relaxing down your back, just noticing it in space. Awareness traveling down your arms towards your hands, encouraging the fingers to soften. To allow both of your hands to rest wherever might be comfortable. Noticing then your elbows. Feeling upper arms relaxing out from shoulders. Feeling the gentle movement with your breathing through the front of your body, through your torso. Just letting it come and go with ease. Letting maybe your neck soften, your bottom jaw relax away from your top. Softening your lips, letting your tongue rest. You're allowing your eyelids to become heavy. Maybe the eyebrows, the space in between them also resting. Allowing your body to be here, resting as much as possible. Practicing being. And just opening up to what's present. This poem I'll share with you is by Dana Fowles. It's called Let It Go. Let go of the ways you thought life would unfold. The holding of plans or dreams or expectations. Let it all go. The choice to fight what is here before you now will only result in struggle, fear, and the desperate attempts to flee from the very energy you long for. Let it go. Let it all go and flow with the grace that washes through your days, whether you received it gently or with all your quills raised to defend against invaders. Take this on faith. The mind may never find the explanations that it seeks, but you will move forward nonetheless. Let go, and the wave's crest will carry you to unknown shores beyond your wildest dreams or destinations. Let it all go, and find the place of rest and peace and certain transformation. Becoming aware of your breathing. Maybe letting each inhale go a little longer and each exhale extend a little bit further. Maybe start to explore movement, wiggling fingers and toes, circling wrists or ankles. Maybe allowing movement to grow bigger, perhaps something like a full body stretch or whatever would feel sweet. And then with care, as you're ready, maybe you roll to one side and pause there, just taking a moment to reflect, to even give yourself gratitude, express thanks for taking the time, right, to let things be this weird place, to practice, to open up to this moment, to even help facilitate like letting go, that courageous compassion. And as you're ready, you will meet in a seated position. And to officially end our shared practice, we'll take a breath in to sweep the arms maybe up and overhead, and a breath out to bring them to heart center. Perhaps you give a little forward fold, right? Perhaps just again, a reflection. But I thank you so much for sharing in this practice with me. And I hope that you stay well and healthy and continue to check out West End or join us on our Kula, our community on Facebook page. And thank you all so much for practicing. Have a lovely night or a lovely day ahead, and be well.